This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
This is DG Chichester, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
This episode of Capes...
Hello and welcome back to another fun-filled Friday night of the Capes and Lunatics. I am Phil. Joining me as always, that rocking out more than a stash now. What are you in New Jersey?
I am Charlie, the Professor.
And doing her best to pretend she's sober in Florida. It is.
Actually, I am sober out of respect for Master Doom. So, sorry guys, the boss is here. Gotta act normal. So, Little Hellfire reporting live from Tampa, Florida.
And we got a full crew because Superman himself is here, straight from Ohio. It is.
Hey guys, here, Tyler. Going live from my phone because my children are acting crazy and I can't be in the basement recording because I'll have to, keep them in line.
All right. So, and of course,
it's that kind of day.
Because he has a big announcement for us, we're joined by El Presidente himself, Rob Master Doom Southgate.
Why, thank you, Phil. Thank you, everybody. Lilith, you'll be able to drink soon. I'm only going to be on for a few minutes, so. Every time. So, a couple of quick things. I wanted to come on, and you guys are so gracious having me on to talk about this. I don't know if you know, we have a Patreon page for Southgate Media Group. That is for the whole network. And the network consists of, I think last count we had 125 different shows. They're not all current, but that's kind of the big deal there, is like 125 different shows. Some of them with well over like 300 episodes. So, I mean, there's a lot of content. And we need some support. So we decided we're going to put our Patreon page up. But rather than just say, hey, give us some money and we're going to keep doing what we're doing, we said, hey, give us some money and we're going to give you awesome content. We're going to give you stuff that you can only get on our Patreon. So here's how it works. We basically built our own podcast radio station. And what we're going to do is we're going to have different shows on there that are exclusive to our Patreon feed. So, for example, Phil and I recorded an episode. He asked me to guest on an episode of Capes and Lunatics where we talked all about Greatest American Hero.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, Charlie's not going to want to listen to it because I didn't like it. Yeah, that hurts, Charlie. I know. Oh, Charlie's silent. Hey, that's
I'm not married to that
He's
show.
like,
It's a good show.
Yeah.
I like it, but,
Yeah, well, you can hear my thoughts if you go to our Patreon page. So we did a special episode. So the various shows are going to do special episodes. We also are going to do interviews with the podcasters, which is always really fun. Get to know the podcasters within our network because, once again, I don't know how many we have right now. I know that a couple of years ago we had just over 100. Some people have left and stopped podcasting. Some people have gone on to start their own networks, but they're still hanging around. And there's a lot of new people. So I don't even know what the count is now, but we're going to try to get through as many as we can doing interviews. And then we have another thing that I'm so excited about, and it's called Passion Project. And what we're doing is we are letting the podcasters create something new. So, for example, back when we started the network and we were coming up with show ideas, I had this one called Creepy, which was going to be all about like horror movies and just kind of that whole thing. And we never got it launched. We never did anything with it. And when we were talking about this, Martha, the other part of the co-ownership, Martha, Molly, and I all own Southgate Media Group. She said, hey, why don't you do Creepy, bring it back, do a single episode, see if you like it, and do it with our friend Blue. So we're going to ask Blue. We haven't asked her yet, but we're going to ask her because she knows everything about horror. And say, hey, you want to come on? We'll do a special episode, do a creepy episode, see how it feels. It could live only on Patreon. It could be a one-shot, or it could turn into a show. Who knows? So that's something else we're doing. As far as content that's going to be recurring, This Week in Geek, which is a show that I do, Phil has been on quite a few times, kind of unofficially on it. That we got to, what did we reach? 100 episodes, Phil? I think we reached 100 episodes officially and stopped.
Didn't you do episode 100 or 99 like a couple times?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, this is us. So we did like episode 99.3, 99.4, 90. We were trying to hit a certain date, so we must have done about 115 of them. But we officially said it got to 100. And that's not including all the live stuff we did also at Comic-Cons and things. So I think we ended at 100, but now we're back. It's a show that people always ask us about. We came back, but we're only doing it on our Patreon feed. And what's nice is it's a Patreon feed. We don't have to worry about explicit content. We can say whatever we want. And so far, all it's been is about how we're all old geeks. That's pretty much what we talk about. A lot of the Last Starfighter talk on there. Lots of it. Although this week we did our Justice League, the Snyder Cut, or as we called it. Yeah, we called it Snyder Cut 1 because it was a big, stinky one. But no, actually, some of us liked it. Some of us didn't. It was a great discussion. And we had a special guest. We had the Chicago geek, Elliot Serrano, on. He's a big name in our world. And he came on and sat in for Chris. And, man, it was awesome. It was awesome. And that, once again, is Patreon only, although I think I'm going to share some of the audio on the feed because it was so good. We found out that there is a Dark Universe Grimace. Did you guys know that?
You just watching MacPat over on Food Theory?
Well, we started talking about McDonald's characters because what else are we going to do? And Elliot told us, he says there is one where the Grimace is like gray and they call him like Dark Grimace or something. I'm like, what? That is bizarre. And he's like, no, I looked it all up. It's real.
Yeah, no, the Grimace was originally a villainous character. He was essentially the Hamburglar, but for shakes. He used to have multiple arms, and he would come and steal your shakes in the same way that the Hamburglar would steal your hamburgers.
Oh.
And, Captain Cook?
Yeah.
Likewise, was the villain in the original lore, and then eventually they said, why are we putting villains in our lore? Let's just have everyone be happy and have fun and enjoy delicious McDonald's food.
I don't know what's going on.
Thank you, Phil. I was just going to say, can I get the I don't know what's going on drop?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, because it was all based on the HR Puff and Stuff characters.
Yes, which also doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, what it was basically they said, hey, Sid and Marty Krofft, why don't you design us some characters based off of your HR Puff and Stuff? And they said, you know what? We don't need you anymore because we already have all your drawings, and we're just going to do a little Stan Lee here. And,
the old Disney.
Right, the old Disney, yeah, just say, we gave you the inspiration, but now we're going to take it to a different artist, so.
Well, that was a hell of a promo I just gave. Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what we've got going. Now, you guys, do you have ideas about what you might do for your shows? I know Krypton Report has a good idea. What are you thinking about?
Well, the one thing that Krypton Report has as an idea is we are going to do a basically live radio drama, so to speak, of some of the official old Superman radio scripts that I have.
Oh.
So that is something that I've been working towards because I have a list. I want to get more people involved of doing the different lines than just the core of the team.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the other thing on our Patreon. It can be video or audio, so whatever works for you. If you want to do full production, you can do that. If you want to do a Zoom thing, we can do that. I know some people have said they want to do, like, trivia. So, like, if you said we're going to do all Superman trivia or Smallville trivia or whatever, that's open. But that's such an awesome idea. Please remember me when you're casting. I would love to be on that.
All right.
Love it. All right, Charlie, you got any ideas for Nuff Said or for?
Well, actually, you can still put out GammaCast, right?
Absolutely.
Because one thing that me and Maz have because if you don't remember, Maz and I first got together on the GammaCast when we were running through the original the Incredible Hulk TV series, and I was thinking, I would love for me and Maz to go back and look at. The Incredible Hulk Returns, Trial of the Incredible Hulk, Death of the Incredible Hulk, maybe Ang Lee's Incredible Hulk, and bring the Gamma Cast back for those people who are dying for Hulk content.
That would
Without a
be
doubt.
awesome. That would be
You know.
awesome. Here's the other nice thing. You don't have to stick to a schedule. So if you want to do one every couple months, you could do that. If you want to do it, weekly, you could do that. Whatever works for you.
I'm going to pitch that to Maz at the next Full Stream Ahead.
Please do. I love Gamma
conversation.
Cast. That's awesome. What a great idea. Lilith, you got anything brewing over there?
Maybe.
Drinky Cast?
You know, when that
Archie
when the
Cast?
DC drink book comes out, I might make the drinks from that book. Maybe.
Oh, that would be
Or
great.
the Supernatural cookbook that I just got. I might do something like that.
I would love that. Actually, somebody just pitched us a cooking show. I would love that. That's an awesome idea, Lilith. And Phil, you had said you wanted to try and do something like once a month, right?
I mean, as we're talking, I mean, all these ideas are popping into my head. I mean, I know people have said stuff about live reads. I'm thinking either TV or movie scripts, maybe comic book live reads, maybe. And
don't be afraid to get a guest too. I'm gonna lay that out there for you guys, because one thing that I've already talked about with a couple of guests is if we have somebody on who's a name, somebody that wants a little publicity or whatever, we can take the first maybe 20 minutes of that interview, put it on Capes and Lunatics, put it on the live feed or the regular feed, and then hey, if you want to hear the rest of it, go to Patreon. So we're not shortchanging the audience. But they get all that extra stuff if they want to go to our Patreon. So there's another option for you too.
And can these be uncensored?
Sure.
Oh, Lilith, we may have to give them some boob windows and long boxes.
All right,
we're doing a show.
He's like, I don't know what that
well, no, what we're doing
I don't know what that is either. I think Phil suddenly went to his special place.
No, it's a deep dive of some of the weirder stuff in comics. Lilith and I are going to be doing like every other month on our Patreon. So.
That would be great.
Comics.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I own them.
I'm sure you do, Charlie.
They were fantastic.
And I'm sure you know the lore of all of it. I actually was a big fan of it wasn't Omni. What was the French one? Heavy Metal. Oh,
Heavy Metal. That was a good one.
I loved Heavy Metal. I think I had a subscription to it for a while. That was the best. Not the new incarnation, but the old stuff was just, oh my God. Amazing.
That was in the heyday of Outsider Comics, man.
Yeah, man. That's my world. So there you go. That's why I came on. I wanted to tell everybody about it. Go to Patreon, look up Southgate Media Group, and you will get all this content. The way we're starting things out, we have this is how it works right now. There's the $1 or $2 level, something like that, where you can just support. Okay? $5 level, that's when you start getting shows. So for $5, you're getting this content. What we're going to do is split it as we start getting more shows, because right now we're getting 2 things a week. As we start getting more content, this could very well go to 5, 6, 7 days a week. We're going to start putting some more tiers to it. So you'll still be able to get like the special episodes of our regular shows at the $5 level, but maybe some of those other things, it bumps up, because it's a lot of work to put these things on, and it takes a lot of effort. And really, that is what's fueling the network. So we really want to try to get as many things going as we can. So there you go. That's all I needed. Thank you, guys. You were awesome to have me on. Invincible, I watched the first episode. I'll tell you right now, my review, it was awesome.
Yes,
Did you read the comics at all?
I did. I read the whole series. Mark my words. So if I was here, I could talk a lot more about it, but I had a lot of fun with the cartoon. The first episode was fabulous. I don't know what goes on after that. I was actually surprised how quickly they flipped those cards at the end of the first episode. So, Snyder Cut was terrible. I can say that. What else can I tell you? Haven't watched Kong and Godzilla, but that's happening for the This Week in Geek that's happening on Wednesday. I will have seen that. The other guys have all seen it, including a Lil who wanted nothing to do with it. He's already watched it. So
I've watched it 4 times.
I haven't watched
4 times.
Wow. I have a son who basically worships Godzilla.
You know what? I'm a Kong guy, so
I don't know if you guys saw our little video.
Kong handles himself well.
Kong is a medical
So we have our little video we put on Facebook of me and Solomon right before we watched it in our shirts and toys.
I will watch that. Yeah, actually, that brings up one more thing. A couple other special things that we're going to be doing, because I don't want to be on every show. That's ridiculous, and I'm not going to do it. But one of our shows was called Geek My Kids, And we always had this idea, but we could never get it launched quite the right way. Well, Molly and I are going to do Geek by Kid as a Patreon exclusive, where we're going to watch, just like once a month, we're going to watch a movie that would be like a geek touchstone from my life. So it might be newer, might be older. Yeah, man, she's going to have to watch Flash Gordon. She's going to have to watch Last Starfighter. She's going to have to watch Big Trouble in Little China. She's going to have to watch The Thing. All movies that I will gladly watch again and again and again. So we're going to do that. And then the other thing is, this is something that I'm going to give you guys an exclusive. I have a hidden Facebook page. It's
Nobody
called
told Martha.
No, she's about the only person on it. It's called what did I call that? The film school one, Marth. Do you remember? No, nobody remembers.
He doesn't even remember what
I can't remember. It's called Self-Imposed Film School.
So secret he can't even find it.
Yeah, it's called the Self-Imposed Film School. And it's a secret page, but I post stuff about films and reviews and things that I think are interesting. And Molly is a professional actress, my daughter, and we started talking about how I want her to see like great acting and great films, not just, pulp or Netflix movies and stuff. I said, I want to get in there a little bit. And Martha said, why don't you do the Self-Imposed Film School? So Molly and I, that's the second thing we're going to do a month. We're going to watch a classic. It might be a Kurosawa film. It might be a Hitchcock. It might be even something modern. I don't know. It's not going to be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because that sucked. But it could be a Tarantino movie. You'd never know. So we're going to watch films and we're going to talk about them. And it's going to be a little bit more talking about the cinematic aspects of it, the filmmaking and stuff. It's going to be really cool, especially focusing on the acting because that's what we talk about around here a lot. So there you go. Those are some new shows that are going to be on Patreon only at SouthgateMediaGroup.com. Links will be in what, Phil?
The show notes.
That's it. Thank you, guys. This was great. I'm sorry I took up all your time.
We would expect nothing less from you, Master Doom.
I don't know how to get out of here.
Master Doom.
I'm going to leave the studio.
Kick him, Phil!
Phil deletes you.
Bye, guys. Lilith, crack that bottle.
Oh, damn, he hit the button before I could kick him.
I want to do reviews of porn parodies now.
Hey. I was going to say, if it's not on ours,
Lilith,
either on
I'm open.
We'll do the Pirates one.
That's
And I'll
not a
dedicate
parody,
it to
but
my
okay.
wife.
I'll do the Pirates one for you. And only because it has that really good-looking porn star in it. What's his name with
Okay,
the
but
long
the
hair?
pirate movies are very well done.
Stone. What's his name? Stone.
I don't care about male porn stars.
Oh!
That's all I care about, man.
Whoa.
Well, it's just,
I mean, to be honest, it's not really what I actually show up for. So.
Me neither.
You see, for me, female porn stars, you can there's kind of an assembly line. A male porn star has to do the work, and I respect that. I want to say it's Evan Stone. Evan Stone, that man is... He's the guy who was Captain America in the Captain America parody. Just to give you an idea of who this guy is, so...
All right. Anyway, since Robert and I almost ate up 20 minutes of our time, all right, let's get to Invincible.
Hey! How about a lovely feel-good story about a young man learning about his super secret superpowers, and then plot twist.
Do we want to spoil
That's
it?
a series.
Oh, wait a second.
Don't spoil it.
Wait. Lilith, of course, Rob's not.
I know. I'm on it. I'm answering.
Okay. He sent it to the group. Okay. I thought he was just sent it to me. Okay. Wally wants to do a Riverdale episode with Lilith, so.
Ooh, Scott Pilgrim.
So all the teenage girls will be doing Riverdale soon.
Which is ironic because now they're like out of high school.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
Anyway,
all right. Sorry.
I just have to say, there were choices made. I'm not upset about it, but I find it suspicious.
What, that they went to the twist so soon?
Yeah. So there's another twist coming, like I said. Trust me. Mark my words.
So you think they're going to veer away from the comics and do something different?
Well, yeah, like I've been reading the interviews with Kirkman, and he said, he wants to keep the core of the story, but like for the comic book fans, he wants to give them other twists. And I do want to shout out Steve Young, who does who's the main voice actor from Walking Dead, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Used to be, yep.
So, yeah, I thought that was really cool because obviously he's half Asian in this version via the mother side. So,
I gotta say though, how are we supposed to talk about this without plot twists or without spoilers? Because it just seemed to me.
That's why you say.
Well, I mean, spoiler alert.
Now we're going
at
into
the end
spoilers.
of the first episode. Yeah, I mean,
well, that's what I said. Because all I said was plot twist. I didn't say what happened. But it is, it's a plot twist. Although, and here's what I'll say. As a guy who doesn't know the story or the lore, what I will say is, I'm excited because I don't know what's going to happen next. Because I really am coming to this as a novice. And quite frankly, it's like I've got my own fan theories, which may or may not be what's happening as far as, what Omni-Man's total deal is. I mean, I kind of get sort of the idea, a little bit of a John Byrne Superman kind of idea early on, and then it's like, but how is that going to play out, and where is it going to go? And maybe they're not going to follow the script of the comics exactly, especially because now that you guys have said, "Oh, this is the comic thing, this is the comic twist," I'm like, "Oh, well, then that kind of tells me that they probably aren't going to do that because they revealed it so early. Because, as the MCU has taught us, start with the comics and then just go in your own direction."
Yeah, because I don't think
that makes it a better story.
Yeah,
well, even the small changes they made, it was just definitely for adaptation purposes. So,
well, was it for adaptation purposes? I mean, so
because he didn't really get bored, I feel that because that's the whole thing why he didn't want to get involved with Walking Dead, before he knew they were going to go so far off the script.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. I think you always have to make changes to it, and the Omni-Man concept of the
And can we just say J.K. Simmons is typecast? They always come to him for the mustached parts.
Yeah, but he's perfect. He leans into it and he chews the scene.
I know.
I am not mad about it at all.
His best role ever as Santa Claus.
When was he Santa Claus?
Klaus.
Oh, Klaus?
On
Okay, I
Netflix.
didn't see that one. That one. So, I didn't see it! There's a lot of things to see! My kids don't watch a lot of Santa Claus lore. They're a little older than that now. They like the concept and the tradition. Okay.
I watch it without my kids.
Okay, well. I'm not that into Santa Claus.
Well, Charlie's watching Evan Stone, so.
I hope that's his name, man. I know his last name is Stone, because man looks like Stone. It's amazing. He's like a living golem. He is just cut. And I appreciate that, and the porn star are the ones that do the work.
I love the color palette that they actually kept the the thing that kind of threw me is because in the comic book they kind of lull you into a false sense of security and then it gets super violent.
Yeah.
And then it was like, nope, we can't. We've only got so many episodes. We got to reel them in. We're the network with the boys on it, so we know what our audience likes. And also, I think they didn't want the kids to get super into it, and the parents all of a sudden go, "What the heck?" So they just let you know off the bat. I think was the idea with that.
That is important because, I mean, honestly,
it looks like something from Nickelodeon, circa late 90s, early 2000s.
You know what it reminded me a little bit of? It reminded me of that recent Superman Man of Tomorrow style animation almost. Very bright.
Yeah.
And everything. It looks kind of like that. And then I think that's why watching it's kind of weird in a way because you're looking at everything so bright and pretty and it's not anime-ish,
Exactly. It's very, very American style.
I think they went with
it's very friendly-ish, and then all of a sudden, some dude's eyes popping out and getting squashed.
Yeah, and that was the thing. It's I was really glad I didn't watch this with my wife.
I think they went with that direction with the art style, Lilith, because it reminds me of the comic a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very similar to the comic. That's why I think they went that way.
But they could have very easily not. I mean, we know all the adaptations of comic books where they don't go this route. So it would kind of surprise me. I mean, it was like for like the first couple of minutes, I literally like watching the pages of the comic book come to life, and that just got me so excited. But I had done my research. I was like, I'm not going to get my hopes up. I know they're going to do all these certain twists, and there's a lot of key differences right from the bat.
And Lil, since you read the comics, do you think like some of the comedic stuff is going to like slow it down, like the Mauler twins or stuff like that?
Oh, I don't think so. Like I said, I think that they're going to very much go in the vein of the boys. I think this is how that's going to go. They kind of know.
Although I gotta say, Damien Darkblood as the mystical Columbo is just so great. It's just one more thing. I just want to get it straight. So you didn't see anything. It was a darkness that attacked you. Yes.
I take that as like I want to come out and say something, but I don't want to come out and say it.
Yes, well, that was, and it's brilliant. And they have him give him a nice little pot belly, which is nice, and make him look like Hellboy. I don't know if he looks like Hellboy in the comics, because I was trying to look up, and I was getting some like humanoid-looking Damien Darkblood, so I don't know if that's something in the books. But anyway, because I couldn't remember what his name was. But yeah, I love him. He comes in. He's kind of a cross between Columbo and Etrigan. It's pretty, and he doesn't rhyme. And because I love Columbo, that was like one of the big draws to me for this was Damien Darkblood as the demonic detective.
Yeah, I mean, lots of. I'm trying to think of. What was I going to say? I don't know.
Yeah.
Biggest drawback though, I have to say, is we're 2 weeks in and halfway through with the season. I don't appreciate it.
Yeah, that's weird.
I can't believe they dropped the first 3 episodes.
I do think it's weird when they do like 3. Like 2, I can get.
Yeah.
But like when it's a short season and you drop 3.
Well, I think. I mean, that's the thing.
Like 8.
But they do need content during this Corona time, so...
Well, that's why I thought they'd string it out more, at least, do... No,
well, season 2 was already, like, pretty much a guarantee anyway.
Yeah, and I get the feeling that they probably felt that if they didn't do a 3-drop, they might not...
Is that Russell?
I believe so, yes.
They didn't do a 3-drop, they might not have gotten... I don't know why they would have thought they might not have gotten the hook, but they might have been worried about it. That, like Disney Plus, they'll do that little weekly drop, but even the first Mandalorian dropped 3 the first season. And then... that was shaky. They were definitely testing the waters on that one to make sure... Yeah, and I think on a level, that is Amazon still testing the waters. Can we move... to the once-a-week model? Because from a subscription service point of view, that once-a-week model is really good. Because you never want anyone to come in, binge the show, and then jump out.
Well, I mean, that was the problem with The Boys Season 2. It's so many people just wanted to sign up for that, free trial period, binge it, and drop it, but they couldn't. That's why people were mad, because they spread it out. And I get that.
People that just don't have Amazon Prime. I just want to talk. I just want to talk.
Well, I mean, I have Amazon Prime, but I can only watch on Amazon Prime what they drop. Right. And there are people who don't have Amazon Prime and whatever.
I just want to talk. Why? What's the deal?
Well, not everybody consumes as much media or products from Amazon.
Again,
I buy very little from Amazon. I really only have Amazon Prime for the content. Amazon Prime is basically just another Netflix to me.
So do you have Amazon Prime or Amazon Video? Because you can do the video. Well, so you can do the video without getting the shipping.
Why? Now that's where I draw the line. I absolutely would. If I did not have Amazon Prime, I'd have no interest in the shows. I'm just
honestly because my wife buys.
Soon.
My wife buys stuff from Amazon, so
that makes sense.
Yeah, I buy stuff from Publishers Clearinghouse, so that just lets you know where I'm at. Such great products at a fraction of retail cost.
Did someone say AliExpress?
But I will say that I can see Amazon wanting to move to that once a week model. And I think they probably will, but they had to get people hooked into Invincible that first week. Because, let's face it, by the time I got around to watching Invincible, amid all the content that was dropped in the last couple weeks, I already had my 4th episode to binge. So I am completely, because I watched all of it today, and so I'm like, oh, this is great. Now I am totally ready to wait for the next episode. Because otherwise they're competing with Snyder Cut, they're competing with Falcon Winter Soldier, they're competing with Kong versus Godzilla versus Kong. They've got so much on their plate. They have to. They probably said, you know what? Let's do a 3-shot.
People that watch Amazon shows are like they're suckers. They're in the Amazon. They're in the Amazon ecosystem. Like say Apple. No, seriously, they have Fire TV. They have Kindles. The whole thing. So they kind of have a built-in audience, but they're always trying to push it because they're no Netflix and they're definitely no Disney Plus. But they do have their loyal people who are there, who have it and will watch stuff because it's a part of the Amazon package. Just like I'm not on Twitch, but I'm gonna go get my free game and give my favorite streamer that subscription because it's there. Why not? Kind of one of those things. And then they get a lot of critical acclaim too because they have all that money and they are doing tax write-offs as far as I'm concerned with some of those shows. So
what it does is it gives people who have Amazon Prime who maybe don't buy as much a reason to not
keep it. Yeah,
exactly. So it's like, so for example, when my nephew had his kids, he was very much like, oh yeah, I got my Amazon Prime, I get the diapers delivered, I get the formula delivered, it's just all this great. So it was really useful for me to have Amazon Prime. His kids no longer in diapers. I'm sorry? Oh,
I did that, the subscription.
Yeah, exactly. But his kids are no longer in diapers, but because he has the content, it's much more likely that you'll keep it because, oh, you know what, I get all this free content. I'll keep the free content. And yeah, I'm still going to buy stuff from Amazon because it's still a pretty convenient way to shop.
Millennials buy everything on Amazon, right, Lilith?
I can't speak for millennials with money because a lot of us ain't got it, but I ain't one of them.
It's the joys of being Gen X.
The joys of no children.
But I mean, I don't know if
well, there you go. Yeah, no children or being Gen X. That's good. And man, if you're Gen X without kids, just make it rain.
He was just on.
Make it rain.
Yes.
But yeah, no, this series, it's probably going to come later, but I think in the comic they got more into like a lot of like comic book tropes. I mean,
and they subverted them to be fair, but they also played them up until they subverted them.
Oh yeah, they're like, oh hey, look, my favorite in the comic was it like the signing at the comic book store, and it's like, what is with these artists now? And you just get like 9 panels of like the same heads just talking back and forth.
Like, did someone say Bendis?
I know.
Well, speaking of comic tropes, again, the Mauler twins are really great, especially, making the argument about who is the clone and who is not the clone.
Yeah.
And given how their story arc progresses, I get the feeling neither were the original. I think that's like the real truth of it, is like the original Mauler is...
it's April, May, June. From DuckTales for you.
Yes. But the idea that, it's just clones of clones of clones at this point, because, it does appear that, since neither knows, it's pretty interesting to me in that sense. That each one would believe that they were the original makes me think neither was the original, because I'm guessing they both woke up in a clone bed at some point. So, which makes me really want to know, what is the origin of the original Mauler? Was he like a Lex Luthor guy who just, made himself to be that superhuman in his own life? And, what's the backstory on Mauler? I gotta know. I loved the Dr. Seismic story we got here. And Tristan very aptly pointed out, this was interesting to him, because he said, this reminds me a lot of the Venture Brothers, first off. And the second thing he says, why do they keep on making kids shows that are ultra-violent? I had to explain to him and say, well, when these characters were created, children bought comic books. But then those children became adults, and they still wanted to buy comic books. So they had to give adult content, but still be, kid. They still had to take the stuff from their
What's
childhood.
the rating on this? Is this T14?
I think it might be 16. I thought.
What,
No,
for
it's-
Invincible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's 14, is it? Or
I
MA?
thought it was 14, but
I thought it was MA.
Yeah, I would call it MA. I mean, I haven't seen a nipple yet, and we all know that the nipple.
See, that's the thing. That's
the
the one
thing.
thing I will say for
That's the thing you must
Invincible.
never see.
It's never really any nudity. It's just the violence. And as we know from the movie ratings, it's okay to be violent, but heaven forbid you see a woman's nipple or her having an orgasm. Heaven
America
forbid,
loves
then it's rated R.
violence. It'd be interesting to see how the ratings change when you get into the overseas distribution. If you have one of those net things that let you go say, "No, I'm really in England," they think, "Wait, what happened to all the blood?" And then you're
Actually,
like,
they're okay with that stuff over there. It's our weird puritanical stuff over here, honestly.
With blood?
Because I have a VPN, so I kind of know.
I had always heard that they were fine with nudity, but they really don't like to have excessive violence on TV.
Well, they can't. Well, original English programming can't afford to have the gratuitous violence. Their budgets are very small over there. So that's that whole thing.
Well, no, it's actually about, because I remember this whole thing about like censorship, and it was actually an old John Stossel report. So take it for what it's worth. But showing how
anymore.
how A-Team was edited in certain countries, because if it was sex, they were fine with it. And they could even go further with sex, but when it came to violence, they were like, no, we don't put that kind of violence on TV in England.
Clearly
and obviously, this was a John Stossel report from the 80s. So, obviously, I'm a very old man, and times have changed. So...
Yeah. Germany don't care. I'm just going to be really real with y'all. It's anything goes.
Yeah, it's TV.
Those are the best versions to watch, guys. I'll just let you know. If you have a VPN... switch it to the Germany region.
Yeah, it's saying TVMA, so I'm thinking, and maybe
so it's more to come then, because I didn't really see anything MAMA necessarily.
Yeah, there's got to be something, because violence, and I'm guessing language.
Yeah,
true.
I mean, Americans.
But the F word is like my favorite word. It just adds seasoning to the sentence, so I'm numb to it.
You have 3, and only 3.
I have none here because this isn't the Patreon.
Exactly, but that is, oh God, that is the joys of censorship. But and cartoons do get a bigger pass on violence because they are cartoons,
unless it's too hyper realistic, which I don't think this style is.
No, I don't think it gets to it. Although it gets to a gross out level certainly. But I don't think it gets to. I
grew up watching 80s horror movies. I am numb to the violence and the gore, the body gore. I'm talking like Hellraiser, all that stuff. So.
Yeah, but those were usually R-rated.
I'm not the person to ask about that.
Yeah.
She was watching Boogie Nights at 13.
Man, that makes me feel old. It's like,
I was mature for my age. It's just like, why lie to the kids? Let them watch what they want, but be there to explain it to them. Like that.
No, just the fact that you could have watched Boogie Nights when you were 13 years old. I mean, I watched History of the World Part 1 when I was, which is an R-rated film, when I was like 10. But that's because my mom loved Mel Brooks. So I got a good education.
I mean, you got to remember, I'm like, MTV and HBO and all that stuff just right there in the house from the day I was born. So, that's my generation. We're numb. We're desensitized, right, Ty?
I mean, yeah. My wife and I were talking about it the other day. We were talking about, one thing when I worked at Blockbuster, how many people come in and rent movies for their kids and be like, oh, what's this rated? I'm like, R or unrated. What's in it? Well, there's a lot of gore and violence. It's a horror movie. Was there any nudity? No? Okay, good. I don't want them to see nudity.
I don't care if a guy gets
someone chopping somebody up. It's cool.
I don't, like Lil said, I don't care if a guy gets his head chopped off, but as long as they're,
just don't show an orgasm or a female nipple.
Or a boob, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
America.
Of course, Blockbuster was weird because Blockbuster is one of the few video stores that did not ever have a back room.
Didn't have the saloon doors, baby.
We didn't.
Or the curtain.
But you know what was fun? When people would call us and be like, "Hey, do you guys have dirty movies?" And we'd be like, "Yeah." And then you'd show them. You'd see people walk up and then you would know who called to ask because they'd show up and they'd be walking around kind of looking. but they're too embarrassed to come up to the counter and ask.
Yeah,
So,
they did have the hot section.
And then we would, make fun of them, or we'd walk over and, rub the dust off something and be like, dirty, and just play dumb. It was hilarious.
I still want to go to the last Blockbuster while it's still being able to be licensed. Which, by the way, guys, you should check out that documentary if you haven't on Netflix. I found it very fascinating. Anyway, I think this show is great. I can't recommend it enough. I hope it gets people more interested in the comic book, because I feel like that comic book is so underrated.
Oh, yeah.
I like it better than The Walking Dead. I'm just going to be honest.
I will say it's underrated.
That's my go-to.
I will say it's underrated because I always saw it, and it always looked kind of hokey jokey to me from some of the covers. Because, the color... Right. I understand that now. You know what I'm saying? But, at the time, I'd walk in, I'd look at it oh, this doesn't... I don't want to do this, And I didn't give it two thoughts about it, But, that was years ago, and then I just kind of forgot about it. And then now, having understood more of it, I'm more interested in going and reading it. And I do think that adapting a series based on your work or whatever, you should do different choices so that your books can live on and your show, so that fans who are new and fans are old can enjoy it. Because there's nothing worse than sitting there with someone who's read all the books, but well, this is what's going to happen next, or this is what's going to happen. So it gets old,
But see, also the thing with adaptation is sometimes they cut the parts that are fan favorites, and you're just okay. As a Harry Potter fan, it's y'all left a whole lot.
Don't even get me started with Harry Potter 6.
That's what I mean. It's just
because that was my favorite book, and everything I liked about that book was gone.
All right,
I don't think that's going to be the case.
That made that book.
All right, hey Lilith. Russell wants to know who would make a good villain episode from Invincible.
The main guy? No, I'm kidding. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, the government. Honestly, the government. Oh,
I know. Hey, Charlie, what do you think about Stedman as our Nick Fury?
I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, there's an aspect. I mean, I'm also very interested in there's a weird thing with people seeing their breath, and obviously part of that is when the demon's around. But then every so often you'll see that breath when the demon isn't around. It's interesting to me. And Stedman, he's got that face scar. I think he is not human. He is not normal. Something isn't right about him.
Don't know I got these scars.
Yeah, something. I get the feeling there is something that's going to be. He actually is. He's got a little juice inside. He's got a little something inside him too. So I like him. I mean, he is a classic. He's a classic Nick Fury style spy master, and that that is at once sort of the positive and negative of this show, because it is a great interpretation of some classic comic book tropes, but it's also the third one in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
When you consider Venture Brothers, Watchmen, The Boys, The Tick, and lots of shows that have come before this that have already said, hey, what if superheroes were kind of jerks? And they're like, yeah, I know. That's literally a genre now. So, I mean, I think that works. It's well written and it's beautiful and I enjoy it greatly. But I will say being the fourth bite at the apple certainly is something that can work against it at this moment, which is maybe why they felt, let's drop the 3 because it's our fourth bite at this apple. We really need to make sure we get people hooked on this because we, for some reason, decided to stop making The Tick. And,
well, that nobody watched it. That's the thing. Amazon pulls the plug faster than Netflix.
Yeah.
Unless you're really A, critically acclaimed, or B, getting those views.
Yeah. Fair enough. So we'll see. So it's got its second.
It'll have another revival before you're dead, Charlie. Don't even.
Oh no! The Tick is evergreen. The Tick will be back. I don't doubt the Tick's immortality. But then again, that goes into this question about Invincible. Does Invincible have the kind of immortality that something like The Tick or The Boys or even the Venture Brothers? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I fully expect 20 years from now to see more Venture Brothers content. I fully expect that the fan base is there and the reverence for the work is there, that it could grow from what was left. In the same way that, you know, these silly comic books from the 80s that were kind of winkingly making fun of superhero tropes, which in and of itself was something that comic books had been doing since the 70s. But, you know, that the Tick and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles somehow keep on managing to come back again and again. And you look at something like...
Also, that's a lot of, like, nostalgia glasses, too. Like, I just feel like kids today, because of just how media is set up and stuff, that's why Gen Z is, like, going back to the 90s. They don't really have anything that draws them to that. You know, they have that... I forget the word for it. For a lust for a time that they didn't get to live through. You know, that whole thing? Like, nowadays, everything's just a rehash, so they really have nothing original to cling to.
Well, yeah, and that's, you know, I mean, that's fair enough. And maybe Invincible will be that thing.
I hope so. I think the comic book's well written. I think that the TV show, I saw, and like, this is the thing about Amazon, for better or for worse, like, they let their products speak for themselves for the most part. They don't really kind of like go on a lot of campaigns, and they actually don't give out a lot of reviews. So if you're a reviewer and you get to review, they don't really censor you. They just tell you what you can't spoil, basically. So all the honest reviews, the people that I trust, they liked it, but they had some questions, because most of them, they hadn't read the comic book or whatever. So
yeah,
well,
I think that's a pretty good, clear indication that people are interested, but can they keep the interest? I think so. I think the story can go for like 7 seasons easily, especially with the short seasons.
Oh yeah, there was 144 issues. I mean, yeah, like
him and those odd not making it to 150. Like, that is his jam.
Hey man, he doesn't drag it out to a big number.
He's just like, I'm done.
I mean,
come get your book.
Yeah, he did like 144. He could have dragged it out to 150 or something. He's like, nope, 144. I'm done. Just like Walking.
Modern Big Two could never.
Yeah, no, just like Walking Dead. He was like 193. I'm done. Okay, no, I'm not going to drag it out another.
I mean, it was just a surprise. Like, he really didn't go to 200. They didn't make him go to 200.
Yeah, but is that Image? I mean, are they really going to write Image? Are they really?
I mean, unless you're, Todd McFarlane.
Well, I think that.
On the other hand, they're like,
that's McFarlane. That's McFarlane wanted to break. He wanted to break that 300 record. So he's like, yeah.
He's going for it. As long as they'll have him, he's going to be making Spawn books, baby.
And he's selling toys too. So it's
Well, I won't talk about the toys. Y'all know how I feel about the toys. Well, as a collector, I feel personally offended by those toys.
Well, I'm saying
you cannot take them out of the box. I repeat, do not take them out of the box.
Well, that's what I'm saying. McFarlane has more interest than just telling a book too. It's like, hey, look,
and movies, and we talked about this, the Spawn family, things like that. And what can Invincible even spin off? That's the whole thing, because that's where it's at right now. Is that extended universe? What can we do? What can they do?
I mean,
what lore could they flesh out? Would you like to see them flesh out that we didn't really explore in the book?
Yeah, I don't know, because in the book, I mean,
where they come from, something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. And again,
that's the one thing. I don't think that they can really expand the universe out in that way, but I don't think that it should have to.
Because even the comic was able to draw from like Image and stuff. Because like at that funeral in the comics, I mean, like Savage Dragon was there. Was Spawn even there?
Is this where we get our Spawn animated series back? Is that the secret plan? Is this the back door for the Image universe?
Maybe
animated universe.
Do it, kids. Do it.
I'm gonna tweet it. Let's see what they say. Just give Todd some ideas. Like, hey man.
Yeah, but did they want to loop all those creators into there? I mean,
if everybody gets their own animated show, why not? Shekels, baby, shekels.
Hey, how about this? If Invincible does well, does Amazon off? Well, they probably can't now because of AMC. But I was gonna say, does Kirkman get offered a Walking Dead animated something?
I think he actually has something in his contract where it doesn't. I think the animated gets left alone.
Oh,
maybe. There might, or at least if I was his agent, that's what I would have said.
Yeah. Well, of course, Russell. He wants a revival of the HBO Spawn. No, duh.
Phil and I have been talking about that. Maybe we'll do that on the Patreon.
I was going to say,
we'll do the.
Yes. Maybe that's for Mr. SMG Patreon. Yes.
Yeah, it's actually a really good animated show.
Oh yeah, Spawn. Yeah.
So maybe this was the revival of really well done, adult-oriented animated stuff.
Yeah, Charlie, we were saying
I've not been impressed lately.
Charlie, we were saying maybe they could like spin out some of the other Image stuff, because in the comics, like since it was in Image, like at that funeral, like Savage Dragon was there. I think Spawn might have even been there. So that's what we're saying. If they could work their magic, they could.
Because that's where it's at. It doesn't have to, but that's kind of where it's at right now in the entertainment universe. What can we spin out? What can we make more money on?
Well, I mean, but in an Invincible universe, you're much more likely to spin out a pastiche unless you're going to do an Infinite Worlds kind of storyline. You know,
nobody wants to see that from Invincible, though. To be honest, that's just not where the drama of it all lies, if you will.
Oh. I mean, I think that's, and again, that is one of the things. Like, honestly, their murdering of their Justice League pastiche so quickly in the story. Sorry, spoiler. Sorry, so just spoiler warning. I think that was I think that in many ways was kind of a detriment to it. That you did have, so everything here from out is a spoiler.
Well, that comes early in the book too. That's within like the first arc, yeah.
And it's only the first episode I'm spoiling, so you know. I think at this point, if you're watching this,
it's that shock value. It's you know, let's kill off Drew Barrymore and Scream in the beginning minutes of Scream kind of thing.
Yeah, and my weirdest thing about that was just like, was Drew Barrymore that big of a star that I didn't know she could die in this movie?
At the time, heck yeah. Drew Barrymore was 90s. She was the it girl, actually.
Well, I mean, she was known, but because this predates all her Adam Sandler work. Scream predated all of her Adam Sandler work, which to me, that's like the real Drew Barrymore shots.
Get out. Get out.
Okay.
We don't talk about that. That was a very down time for her. We don't talk about that in the Drew Barrymore.
Okay, well, I don't know about personally. I just know that those were some very popular films. You know, Never Been Kissed, which wasn't an Adam Sandler.
I was going to say, that's not Adam Sandler.
No, Never Been Kissed. It's, everyone loves Never Been Kissed.
But she's a Barrymore, first and foremost, is what you need to know. So,
no, she is. She's absolutely a Barrymore. But, at the and she was in E.T., and she was. I mean, she had a legendary name, but at that, I think that she made her acting name much more after Scream than before Scream. That's all I'm going to say. It's like, if they had killed Ron Howard off in a movie, like if Ron Howard had died in American Graffiti early on, I think we might have been, wow, they killed Opie, but we might not have been that overwhelmed by it.
She was a bigger name than Nev Campbell, put it to you that way.
Fair enough. She was probably the biggest name in the film, which, honestly, at that level of that film was.
I would go with Courtney Cox, honestly.
Oh, yeah, because that was a couple years into Friends, yeah.
Was that into Friends or was that before Friends?
No, it was like...
Into Friends.
Wasn't Scream 97? Yeah, Friends started in 94, yeah.
Okay, but did they shoot... Well, so they might have shot it, and then Courtney Cox became a bigger name. That's always that thing. Is like Courtney Cox was the misfit of science.
Development from 96 to 97, post-production 98, so debatable.
So, Friends was, so fair enough. So Courtney Cox might have been the bigger name. So, but a TV name.
Yeah, exactly.
It's levels, but yeah. So
Jeff Campbell also TV star. So
yeah, Drew Barrymore is the movie star. But then again, like I said, for the budget on a Wes Craven film, it's like, yeah, that's the person who's going to die quick. Unless you're playing the sheriff, because that's a reference to the movie Nightmare on Elm Street. He got to live because he was the star, but he was also the dude. If it's a film about damsels getting murdered, then yeah, the star probably dies early because she says, give me my check and I'm going to go home.
Okay, so Invincible, definitely watch it, guys, if you haven't already seen it. I think it's very worth your time. Also pick up the comic books. Super worth your time. You won't regret it. But, bigger news. Elliot Stabler's back, baby!
Yeah!
I finally got to watch it. And I'm so bummed I fell asleep. I was so gonna live tweet it, but I fell asleep.
I got a brand new TV yesterday. Watched it on a brand new TV.
Oh, his birthday gift! First a MacBook.
No, wait,
now is this a big TV?
is this return of Stabler to SVU, or is this Stabler's own
to the Law and Order
Mafia?
universe? He has his own show.
Well, they did. He showed up on a new episode of Law and Order SVU last night, and then directly after,
per tradition, he started out the new show.
Yeah, he started. He has his own series now, Law and Order Organized Crime. Which it looks like he's going to be going after like the same crime lord. Well, at least for this season, it looks like.
Yeah, well, you got to get a new crime lord every season,
I mean, SVU, they kind of go after someone different every episode. Yeah, I mean, this seems.
But if you're into like the Vincent D'Onofrio side of SVU, it makes sense.
So you liked it, Lil?
Yeah, I mean, I've missed Chris Maloney for a long time. Like, I liked Happy, but it was kind of too weird and quirky for him. Like, I just wanted him home. And if he didn't, if him and what's her face Mariska can't work it out, I'm glad they gave him his own show. I would love to see those two together again, but I just really feel like there's some deep-seated resentments.
Oh, you think? I thought, like, I don't know if it was him for her kids or her for his kids. I thought one of them was like a godparent to like the other kids or something. I thought they were like close or something.
Used to be.
Oh.
I mean, when he left, it was a mess. Why he left and how they shot that, it was an absolute mess.
Oh, I thought it was nothing.
I thought they buried the hatchet.
I thought it was nothing with her. I thought he just wanted more money or something.
Let's just say he wanted to be the star, but we all know Mariska's the star.
He wanted more money.
Mariska's the star.
Okay.
And for you can say whatever you want about Happy, but I will tell you this: Christopher Maloney. My feeling is the man really wants to do broad comedy.
Yeah, absolutely.
He wants to be Leslie Nielsen.
Him, but
he wants to be Leslie Nielsen, and no one's letting him be Leslie Nielsen.
It's just like, I felt like he was never really happy with all the post-SVU work that he had gotten. Like, everything from, like, True Blood, even to Happy, it felt kind of just hollow. Like, that's just not... Like, because I've been a huge fan of him before Law and Order. Like, y'all know the show. Yeah, my parents were terrible.
But did you see his Kentucky Fried Movie sketch comedy film? Where you got every famous actor in Hollywood to be in it. To do the grossest jokes, and I think it was called Film 69 or something like that.
Yeah,
It is unwatchable, but he seems to be having so much fun making it.
Okay, that's like the one exception, but like that
to me, that's his true soul. That's who he wants to be. And I actually think maybe he's just not that good at it. It's like, no, you're much better as the dark, broody guy. He's like the anti-Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder always wanted to be the dark, brooding guy, and no one's ever going to take you seriously as a dark, brooding guy. That's why he did
Willy Wonka.
But he's not dark and brooding. It's like he could play a Batman villain. Yes, Gene Wilder as the Joker would have been phenomenal. But, no one's going to believe Gene Wilder is Bane. That's all I'm saying. And
I'm just the physicality of it all, but
he would have been like the Joker in a Christopher Reeve Superman movie.
I mean, we did get Gene Hackman, so not that I don't love him.
Hackman and Gene Wilder team up.
Oh, that would be fantastic. That is a film that never was made. But yeah, I think those two should have done a buddy cop comedy. But Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor did a lot of stuff, and they played off each other so well.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm actually excited, and I don't want to be excited because I don't have time for like watching TV weekly anymore. That's just not what I do. But I have to. Like, I don't want to be spoiled.
What the
and I don't want to have to pay for Peacock until Saved by the Bell comes back. So.
You have to pay for Peacock?
Yeah.
You don't watch commercials. I'm sorry.
Well, yes. Isn't it some content you have to pay for and some is free?
I think the first episode of everything's free, but you have to pay for everything.
Okay.
It's all free if you just are willing to have a commercial in your commercially written TV show.
I don't know. Let me.
I was gonna say.
I'll check the app after.
Lilith,
the way that at least the stuff that I was interested in watching, the first episode's free. Everything else, you got to pay for it.
Lilith, just get it like cable or
I'm
satellite.
trying to be nice and not be a pirate, but they make it so damn hard.
Get cable or satellite.
Don't you have a DVR?
Yeah, DVR. Well, does she have cable or?
I don't
satellite?
have room on my DVR.
What?
Well, see, now that's your first problem.
Yeah, you got to watch something, delete it. Come on.
delete the stuff you're never going to watch. Really, that's what me and my wife do every week.
Well,
it's like, okay, what are we never actually going to get around to watching? We've seen that Columbo 12 times. We don't need to watch Wendy.
To it. Look, you set the rules for it to self-delete whenever it fills up, and that's when it's gone. If you haven't watched it by then, that's your problem.
I like my DVR clean.
My DVR.
I like my DVR
Don't
clean.
Judge me.
The only thing on there is stuff I haven't watched yet.
Then you know what, Lilith? I'm gonna make this recommendation to you. You need to go you need to have a DVR that you can offload onto a flash drive.
I don't have time for all that. That's
okay,
what the DVR is there for. I don't want any more extra steps. The DVR is already enough of an extra step, but I literally can just go on my phone, click the button, stream to TV for free. But I can't do it anymore. I'm trying to be a good person. So even the DVR is an extra step than what I have to do. So, and that's probably why I'm not watching it. Honestly, it's like, oh, it's on the DVR. I got to go find the remote. I literally don't use my cable box remote.
Oh my! But I was gonna say, just DVR the Law and Orders, then you can fast forward through commercials.
Even that's too much work. But literally, you don't even have to. Honestly.
Okay, you want the honest truth, Phil? She doesn't really want to watch it. She wants to know it exists.
No, I do want to watch it, and I am gonna watch it. But
she doesn't
I don't know what show I'm gonna take off the DVR. Probably Supergirl, to be honest. No shit.
Yeah. And to be fair, what she really wants to buy is the box set of Blu-rays so that she has them for after the apocalypse.
Exactly.
She wants the hard.
I have seasons 1 through 3 of Arrow. That'll, 1 and 2 of Flash. The best seasons. That's how that
is. It though?
That's just a really nice package.
They're really good. You can hate with your Marvel glasses all you want to, but they are actually pretty good seasons. So.
Oh my!
And just so you know, the Flash always did better ratings than Shield, so you could just.
Fair enough. I won't.
On that one.
Flash, I'm not arguing. Flash, I know is always beautiful. It's Arrow.
I know poor people.
It's not for everybody.
Holly. Fair enough.
Not for everybody, but season 1 had a lot of shirtless Stephen Amell, and that's all I needed.
Salmon ladder.
Comics.
Yes, comics.
Department of Truth number. You should put the numbers more prominent on these things. 07, number 7. This is.
It's getting really weird, but in a good way.
Yeah, well, this is our great Flash. This is a great. So right now what we're doing a couple of lore episodes where we're really building up what's going on and really kind of trying to define the heroes versus the villains. I think, I'm trying to remember, I think last book was a parallel story where they did the original Lee Harvey Oswald, and then they had our current protagonist trying to be tempted by the Black Hats, who are just clearly evil, by the way. Because anytime someone wants to tell you that they're secretly good, that usually tells you that they're evil. Spies always tell you, I'm making the best decisions I can in a gray world. Much like in Invincible, at the end of episode 4, that's the problem with demons. You see everything in black and white. I need to keep things gray so I can figure out what we're doing. But this is pretty good. We get a young Doc Hines, which, again, to give you a little reference there to good old Doc Hammer over at Venture Brothers. It's an aspirational nickname. And we see him, he's got the tinfoil on his head because originally that was how he preserved his magazines, and he heard that it could prevent, mental manipulations, which makes you wonder if you were to wrap hard copies of things in tinfoil, would that prevent them, because we know that he's all about hard records, would that prevent them from being influenced by whatever it is that changes reality? This is a great thing about the Men in Black. We get a lot of great tiny text stuff here about like when Men in Black have shown up and what they've done. And he's like, I'm sure a lot of people are writing about UFOs. I'm less interested in the UFOs than the people that want them to want people to shut up about them. And, it is it is just, it's such great lore that they're building for it. We get back to Lee Harvey Oswald in the, library of all the secret knowledge of the world, and they're trying to build exactly what's going on. And I really do feel we're going to get that the Department of Truth really are the good guys at the end of this. That, these are guys fighting. Yes, reality is malleable, and reality is awful, but really they're doing their best to keep reality at least stable. Because if reality becomes unstable, things get really bad.
Yep,
I like this book.
As 2020 showed us.
Yes.
All right. You know what's interesting to me? I'm a week behind on this. Harley Quinn #1.
Oh, how's she doing?
She's like basically. I mean,
tell us about it, Putin.
I don't know. I don't know if she's bad. Technically in the bad family, but she's basically an ally. I mean, she's basically trying. She's trying to.
Well, they've been working towards that forever.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's basically official now. She's trying to take down Killer Croc in the beginning, and like, there's a lot of interaction with Batman in this first issue because trying to sell books, but no, it's. I mean,
at this point, Harley Quinn should be in Batman books. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. It's just like her trying. She wants to make amends for all the damage she did while she was with the Joker, and.
How about get out of that costume and get back to the mental asylum and actually do your damn job?
Oh, that's funny because how do you take out crazy Dr. Harleen Quinzel? Well, why don't we fight fire with fire? Last page. Here's where we're going. Dr. Hugo Strange.
Oy vey.
Oh.
So we're going to get some Harley versus Hugo Strange.
Does he at least look like BD Wong?
No.
Are they going the Gotham route?
No, he almost looks like a
that was the best Doctor Strange.
I concur, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Gotham might have got a lot of things wrong, but that wasn't one of them.
Yeah. One thing I will say, do you feel that there's like a weird mission creep with Batman villains? And you see this, I think, with Spider-Man villains, too. Where there's just this emphasis on humanizing them and making them...
To a detriment, yeah.
Yeah, to where we can't really...
Villains?
Yeah, where we lose them to be villains, kind of like
now
honestly, when
anti-hero.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they in a lot of comics, it's like they want to. Somebody gets popular. A villain gets popular, and they want to like humanize them, and it's just like, oh, they're always thinking about their own. I mean, look at Venom. Oh my God.
Oh, well, he's
prime
the worst
example.
of that. But like for example, when they showed like the whole Bat family with Pirate Damien, in his poofy shirt. And then they said, well, why is the Joker there? Why are they all standing in the Bat family and there's the Joker? It's like, I get Poison Ivy, I get Harley Quinn. Why is the Joker there?
I told you, I don't think that was literal. That was just an advertisement.
That's his boo!
That was just, hey.
Literally, I told you the best thing about the Snyder Cut is they finally called it out. That's his best freaking friend, man. I'm sorry.
They're doing Joker, misunderstood anti-hero.
Hot topic Joker. Evil Joker.
He's so much more marketable as an anti-hero, Phil.
He's pointing out the
wrong hypocrisy of it all.
Exactly. He doesn't like Nazis. That's his line, and that's the only line you have to have. Nazis are bad. Everybody else is fine, but you're a Nazi, I'll punch you. And that's the rule. It's like, it's like maybe we should shoot for higher than that.
The stuff too. There's the prank shop Joker stuff that you can get at Walmart.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like they want.
He's got his own book.
Somebody gets popular. They want to give them their own book. They want to merchandise the hell out of it.
But they don't think about the consequences of it.
Yeah, and too, it's like we don't want this person to do horrible things. And if we give them,
he's
their
a mass
book,
murderer several times over, sir.
Oh, yeah, many times over.
Didn't he eat a baby once? I mean, like literally eat a baby.
He killed Jason Todd.
It doesn't count as a resurrection.
A lot of people. He was the punchline of his day.
Like I said, they know what they're doing with Punchline. She's a very popular character. She sells out instantly.
I know.
They have a plan for her, and it's working. So sometimes you're just too old. It's not your demographic, and that's fine. I've punched out on books. Like, nope, I've aged out of this. I'm done with it.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's DC, baby. It's like it's.
There's plenty of Marvel books where I'm just like, y'all have lost the plot. I will catch you when you.
Oh yeah.
All right, hey Lil,
it happens to the best of us.
It does.
My actual reference was going to be to Chinatown. It's like, forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
Oh, boy. Yes.
Forget it, Jake. It's DC. It's like,
At this point, there's no saving it.
Well, it's not that there's no saving it.
No, they have to burn it down and let it rise from the ashes. There's no saving it. I'm just standing back. I'm not offering any more advice. It's done. It is what it is.
The only problem with that advice, Lilith, is that they literally burn it down every 5 years. and we need to...
Well, no, that's been a very recent 2011 kind of phenomenon, so...
Yeah, and Lilith, that would mean that it's happened twice since then.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm just saying, though. It's like...
Yeah,
you'll get it right eventually. Third time's the charm.
Well, there you go.
Hey, Lilith, you got any books?
I did pick up an indie book. It was from Black Mass Studios. It's called Destiny Number 1. It's a very interesting YA take. So this girl had a magical prophecy. She actually fulfilled it so young that she's having like this quarter-life crisis in her 20s, which I think is very relatable for like a lot of like Gen Z and like millennials who peak too soon as well could probably relate to that. And so she falls in love with this girl from a crime family, but she's still at the magic school for some reason that I haven't figured out yet. So it's like the star-crossed lover coming of age kind of thing, and
she's doing her postgraduate magical work,
Apparently. I don't know what's going on, but I was interested. The art style is very interesting. It's very Manuel Petrano does the art, but the cover is what caught my eye. It's by Terry Moore from Strangers in Paradise, and actually that's pretty much what this, if you're familiar with that comic, kind of those vibes, but like a little more colorful world, but like darker souls, if you will. So I'll give it another issue. I want to see what they're up to. I wonder if they're going to subvert any tropes, or this is going to be very straightforward, like a lot of YA comic graphic novels are. So yeah, it's interesting. I want to see where it goes, but the artwork totally pulled me in. The cover pulled me in, so I was just like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. That's how you get me, honestly. Just give me a great cover and a decent story, and you might have a fan.
Phil, do you have an indie book this week?
Come on, it's Phil.
Ew, I had Spawn.
That's technically an indie book. No,
at this point, Image doesn't count.
I know.
Nah, lots of stuff. Hey, Lilith, you don't like when I say Archie doesn't count, so...
No, Archie totally doesn't count. That was just me being facetious. This is totally the big three.
But hey, Charlie, one more book. Do you have any to throw out before we get to Super Connectivity?
Well, I mean, I'd love to talk my other indie book this week, sure. Nuclear Family Number 2.
Cool.
For those who don't recall, it's the family in Milwaukee. In 1958, nuclear war starts. But for whatever reason, they go into the bomb shelter. But when they come out, everything is their house is fine, but it's a nuclear wasteland outside. The military shows up, and it's like, "Why are you here, commie?" And we get this whole lore that basically 10 years have passed. They're apparently in an alternate universe because Dan, one of his friends from the 1958 timeline, doesn't recognize him, and he's in the military now. And then you basically find out that, yes, in 1958, the bombs all dropped, everyone went underground, and this guy and his family somehow got pulled out of reality and are in this reality where 10 years later, it's a completely different timeline. It's weird and it's interesting, and I'm enjoying it. This is from Aftershock Studios. They're back up. Once again, they give you another little early check at a story for another book they're going to be pushing out. This is Project Patron, and it's basically Superman, but he, very golden agey villains. But then we realize that, oh no, actually, evil spy guy is actually running an LMD of the guy. So. Might be interesting, we'll see. But Nuclear Family Number 2, enjoyed it as much as Nuclear Family Number 1. I really am looking forward to Nuclear Family Number 3.
Aftershock is a pretty, slept on studio, so I'm glad that you're actually picking up some of their books.
Yeah. I mean, I got the one, I haven't finished it yet. That was one that they teased in the last one that was sort of like a cast a deadly spell kind of gangster magic story, but, I like the first part I read was really good, but then it went into some kind of weird lore about fairies, and I was like, I don't want lore about fairies. I want gangster magic users. Read the room, Aftershock. But that was, it's called like The Bequest. So I do have to find that and finish it. I was going to read it tonight, but I can't find it now. But I'll find it. I'll read it. That's why you
bag and tag your books and put it in a short box or a long box.
Yeah, this is from a person who has no children. I know Phil has a child and he does bag and tag and has his meticulous comic book.
Bag and tag him, slide him like a dead body.
Damn straight.
Hey, Lilith, next month you're going to have to read Flash because 768 came out this week.
Oh, damn it! Why am I the Queen of 69? You're welcome, Philip.
Hey, nice. Yeah, and Wally West is in it, so yeah, you're going to have to get it.
Okay, only for my sweet, sweet ginger boy. It better be that Wally.
Well,
Wally?
It's weird, but it's interesting because like Wally tells Barry he wants to get rid of his powers, so he can be with his family. Because he's like, I know if I keep my powers, I'm going to be tempted to get back into things. And so Barry takes him to the Speed Force to try to take away his powers. Wally disappears.
Wait. We did not talk about Impulse being cast on the Flash, and I don't know how to feel. The guy's hot, but
is this another time travel kid?
It is. I know
Impulse literally is a time travel kid, but
it's supposed to be the grandkid, but they're totally doing the son.
Yeah, in the comics it was Barry's grandson. Now it's his son. Yeah, in the show it's gonna be
No tornado twins. We can't get tornado twins.
Nope, they must have wiped them from the. Thank you, Crisis. But no,
When does Legends come back?
Soon, actually, right?
I hope so.
May?
Maybe. Because I thought that was... Yeah, Supergirl now we're supposed to be mid-season, but then they brought Supergirl back this week.
We'll let you know, Charlie, but I'm looking forward to Legends.
Yeah, Legends is coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you got me. I'll read it. We might even talk it if we have time on somewhere.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because Wally basically starts hopping through time, all quantum leap, because he shows up in the prehistoric age. Is like he has his speed, but he's in a caveman body.
So, are they making it up to us Wally fans, or like
maybe? I don't know. Oh my God, Lilith! At the end, he jumps into the future and he's in Impulse's body.
Oh no!
What?
Synergy!
I know. Oh, I was like, whoa, what?
So on that note, let's pay some bills so you boys can do some super connectivity.
All right, because Lilith is sobering up. Yes. All right, so yes, you heard. Well, most importantly, you heard Rob Masterdoom Southgate talking to Capes and the Southgate.
Go subscribe to the Patreon.
Yeah, the Southgate Media Group Patreon, the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. You guys got a lot of subscribing to do, so go subscribe to those, and then email us your thoughts on everything. capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter. You can find links to all of our various social medias for all of our shows. Links to this YouTube channel. You can see Rob's pretty face. Go subscribe to the YouTube. Links to, our Patreon. Maybe I'll have to add the SMG Patreon to that. Links to merchandise, all in one place.
Stay hydrated.
It's nobody's business what you're drinking. So get everything at Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And please remember to support our sponsors, Tweaked Audio.
Get yourself some quality HD in-ear headphones. Come on, Tweak. Give me some over-the-ears.
Exactly. And also go hunt a killer.
Help Michelle Gray solve a cold case. Get an escape room delivered to your house.
That's right. And also, as we were talking earlier, go get Pod Life the book, Volume 1, now in digital and paperback. Audio version coming soon. So, pick that up on Amazon. And when you do, use the link for Southgate Media Group right down there in the show notes. Help us support this show, the network, and that force of nature you heard for the first 20 minutes of this podcast. Rob Masterdoom Southgate.
Make it rain.
I only want to talk to you guys
so
the first
says
5
Master
minutes.
Doom.
That's a Rob 5 minutes.
Please kick me in the pants. Why did your eye drift over to my box?
All right, Lilith, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire, live tweeting something, live tweet hating something DC related, I'm sure. You can find me on Instagram at Lilith Hellfire 86 for comic book memes and stuff. At Lilith Hellfire 69 on TikTok and Instagram. I almost don't want more followers because right now I'm at 52 followers on TikTok, and I just feel like that's just right.
50.
But if we can get it to 69, that would be even better.
I was going to say, come on, you need 17 more. Come on.
Chris Evans can get it all day, every day.
For those of you who may not know. All right, Charlie Esser.
Well, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way the way our Mars and Paz once did, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. And, of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet things someday, sometime, but not DuckTales Woohoo, because it is ended. At Charlie Esser, that's CHARLIE. Yes, SER. Look for the two E's in the middle. For what?
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Maz.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. After a special few the last couple weeks, we're back to normal next week.
We're not normal!
Well, for us. So,
I think we can rule out normalcy.
So until then, we have been your capes.
Ampersand.
Lunatics!
Remember, check out everything that fancy man Rob Southgate is doing. Everything you heard. Hey, it's worth it for the Molly Southgate, okay? I won't vouch for Rob. It's worth it for the Molly Southgate.
Didn't Molly used to have a cooking show?
He does. You can follow Cooking with Molly on Instagram.
Mark my words.
Are you a fan of comic books? Are you a fan of comic book villains? Well, join me, Russell, as we take a walk on the dark side with Tomes of Evil, the podcast dedicated to discussing, analyzing, and overall glorifying the villains of Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and all your favorite indie books.
Tomes of Evil, a comic book villain podcast.